Hi, this is Yvonne McNair here for Central Kentucky Television, and my guest is Laura Justice. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
To Channel 6 Central Kentucky Talks.
Thank you.
And Laura is from River of Life Church.
Yes, I am.
And I think the last time you were on here, we were talking about Lakamba.
Yes.
In Tanzania, and things are going pretty well.
They're going great.
Okay.
Yeah, we just got back from a big trip the beginning of October and just saw some really great results.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're also here today because you've been talking about a fundraiser to do
Yes.
more great things in Tanzania.
Yes, absolutely. We have a couple different things that we're focusing on, but we are really interested in getting some of the capital projects underway so that they can become self-sustainable, and that they can also have the buildings and the structures that they need to have a really great school.
Okay, now when you say school, we all think of the schools that we have here. Wonderful schools, we've got wonderful teachers, large buildings, we've got a lunch program for them, we have outside events for our students and all that. How does that compare with the schools in Lakamba?
Oh, it's quite different.
Yeah.
The school buildings are not connected. They're not all indoors like what we have here. And I would say in much rougher condition than what we're used to here. They do have a lunch program with the students, which is wonderful, but there is no lunch room. And so that's one of the capital projects that we're wanting to get going, is to get a dining hall built so that they can eat under a roof and out of the weather. They have fantastic staff that cook in incredibly bad conditions, but the food's great. And we were able to experience that while we were there and eat some of the food. And I'm really happy that they're feeding our children so well.
Yeah. Well, I've seen photos of the kitchen there, and there's one stove for how many students?
About 250 plus staff.
Okay.
Yeah, so they cook in a big pot over an open fire, and we just recently got a stove up and running for the school. It was actually there, but it wasn't operational, and so we had a gentleman from Australia that came in and was able to get the chimney working, and within just a few weeks it'll be fully operational, where they can cook on what they would call a stove. It's very different for us, but it would be much better conditions.
Okay. Well, tell us about the fundraising.
Okay, the fundraising is in a couple different tiers, and so we have an ongoing need for just the running of the school, and that costs about $85,000 to $95,000 a year, and so we're constantly trying to raise funds for that. But we're also trying to operate on one-time gifts, where people will say, you know, I don't necessarily want to commit to an ongoing gift, but I'm willing to give money towards the things that we have. And one of the things we're doing is, of course, the kitchen and the dining hall, but we also have silos that we need to build, because we're also trying to help them, when they raise crops, have a place to store their grain. And so that's one thing. And we also have bees that they're raising, and they have about 10 beehives right now, and about 6 or 8 more on the way. And so they're able to have a really great business of selling, raising and selling honey.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and tell us about some of the students that you have there. What ages do they run?
We have preschool age all the way up to about what we would call 7th grade. And they're an amazing group of students. They're trilingual. They know their Maasai language, they know Swahili, and they're learning English, and some of them are very good at speaking English. So when we go now, we don't need interpreters. We can actually converse with the students and the teachers, and we can communicate very well.
Okay. Now, how long has this program been going on?
Since 2008, Pastor Troy from River of Life has made a connection with some gentlemen that introduced him to the project in Lakamba, and so we've gone over 7 or 8 times in the last almost 10 years, and doing things like dental clinics and medical clinics, and teacher training, and just enhancing the community as well. So.
Okay. So how, if one of our viewers out here want to get in touch with you to actually donate some things, or donate some cash or whatever, how can they do that?
Oh, that's a great question. There's several different ways. One is we have a Facebook page called Love for LaComba, and you can get on Facebook and check that out. And there's a donate button on that page. You can donate through there. The River of Life will be having an app coming up very soon that'll be functional, where you can also give on that. You can give through the website. You can also mail checks to the River of Life Church in Springfield.
Okay. Now, I know that on the last visit, how many people went?
7.
7 people went, and you guys stayed for how long?
We were in Africa for 12 days, which is that's a long trip, but we were in the village for almost 6. And so I had a great time working with the teachers there.
Now, did you guys have a goal when you went over?
We did. We absolutely had a goal. Our goal was to work with the Joshua Teacher Training College and using some of their concepts so that what we're doing is sustainable. We're not just going in and having a lot of fun. We're actually going in and doing something that they can carry on, the teachers can carry on. So we had a teacher on this trip that went in and visited every single classroom and then gave teachers feedback on how they were teaching, and then taught them ways to improve on their critical thinking skills. And so she focused on reading books and how to predict what was going to come. Maybe they could get an idea of what the story was about by just looking at the picture. And they're carrying that on today. I just got an email saying that the teachers are doing very well and they're continuing that progress. And we also had a dental clinic that was amazing. The kids are actually in pretty good health, so they didn't need a whole lot of dental work. We did pull a few teeth, but they're even now still talking about how to take care of their teeth. So those
I think Dr. John Isaacs.
He did. Dr. John Isaacs. He did.
He's here on Channel 6 quite often.
Yes, he's a wonderful team member. When we go, he does a great job. He works really great with the government there. We have a government doctor that oversees our operation, and he does really well with that. And it's just a lot of fun to see him in action in very crude setting, because there's no dental chair, there's no running water, but he does a really great job.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I know also that's a long trip.
Oh, it is a big trip. Yeah, it's about a 24 to 27 hour a travel time from leaving from door to door.
From door to door. Now, how do you go from here to Louisville, or you go to Lexington?
Or Louisville, and then we go to Atlanta, and then we fly into Amsterdam, and then from Amsterdam into Kilimanjaro, which is in Tanzania.
Okay, now how do you guys work it with all the different languages of the countries that you go through?
Well, ironically enough, most places that we visit are English. They have English speaking.
That's good.
Yeah, we don't really struggle with that so much. And when we need it, we also pay for, we hire an interpreter as we need it.
And I know that you also, as you go, you take things with you. You take supplies with you. How does that work out?
Well, it really depends on the trip. And this particular trip was focused on the schools, so we took in donated books. We took in that were appropriate for our classes. We took in school supplies that they needed, things that they would be able to use in the days and the weeks to come. And so we're very specific about what we take with us, so it just meets a need, and we're not just taking random things that they'll never use, which we've done in the past. And with good intention, people are very generous and very kind and thinking towards the need, but what we found is that if we're not intentional about what we take, things just sit and they don't know how to use them. So
okay, now how far is it to LaComba from the actual airport where you land?
Oh, that's about, LaComba is about maybe an hour and a half from the airport. We go from the airport into a big city called Arusha, and then we stay there for a couple days, and then from Arusha we go into LaComba. And it's about a 45-minute drive.
And you have to move all those supplies with you.
Yes, we do.
Each move.
Yeah, we have a big Land Rover that they stacked the roof with. We had 21 pieces of luggage, and that was supplies and personal things, and so it was very, looked like we were moving, and then we just all cram into the vehicle.
Yeah.
So.
And you mentioned personal things. What do you get to take?
Oh, personally for myself? You have to think about things like no electricity, so you have to take a flashlight or some kind of headgear that has a lamp on it. We also have to think about they might not have toilet paper, so we have to take toilet paper, and we have to take in everything that we need to survive really a week in a village with no running water and no electricity.
Wow.
So
it's quite a trip then.
it is a great trip. It's a trip that anybody really can do. People think it's so hard, but really once you've done it, it's not that hard. You know, we learn to take bucket baths, and we learn to eat their food, and it's really beautiful.
Okay. Now, how do the children feel about you guys coming? I know they're the students there. Do they look forward to your visits?
Oh, they do. This trip we had incredible reception by the students, and I'm not really quite sure what was so different from this time from other trips, but as soon as we were there, as soon as we arrived at the school, the kids came rushing up to us and just hugged on us and loved on us the entire week. They couldn't get enough of us this time, which is really a lot of fun. They loved the interaction that we had with them. We had a couple clubs in the afternoon. One was worship club, and it was so funny because the first day we had about 50 kids, which is a lot of kids, and the next day we had like 150 kids, and so they just enjoyed playing the musical instruments that one of our team members made, and taught them songs, and they just loved it. They just really, really enjoyed having us there.
Okay. And again, for the fundraising part of it, you're trying to get some new things for the kitchen.
Yes. We need we need the actual structure itself, and so the small kitchen that they have is good for small events. But in order to feed students consistently and well, we need to add on to the kitchen and then build a roof and we're not even building full walls; it's just half walls. So it's not in terms of building a kitchen. It's only about $20,000, which is not that much money when you think about the square footage that we will be covering, but that's one of the bigger things that we need. That's a government required space, and so we're under the gun really financially for that to get that done.
Okay, again, give us information on how we can contact you to help you with fundraising.
Absolutely. If you want to go to our Facebook page, Love for Lakamba, and donate through that way, or River of Life will be having an app very soon, probably in the next week, that you can download and give through that, or you can make checks payable to River of Life Church. You can, and then put in the memo, Project Child, which is where the funds will go to, and what you want it for. If you want to help build the kitchen, or if you want to help build silos, or help with the bees, just hashtag that's what you want to do, and that can be mailed to 1250 Highway 555, Springfield, Kentucky.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. And I know that in the coming weeks you guys will be doing some other different things to try to embellish this and get this going.
Yes, we're trying to get some fundraising going. We've got a couple things in mind, but we haven't kind of come through with that fully. So we have some smaller fundraisers coming up. But
so beware. Be watching. There's some
be watching.
Check things coming.
Yeah, check out our Facebook page. We'll keep everybody up to date on what's coming and what's going on in Lakamba.
Okay. You can also check on Channel 6. If there's anything coming up, we'll be sure to let them know.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being out here today, and we hope that for those people out there who are deciding on Christmas gifts, or holiday gifts, or fundraising gifts that they want to make this year, that they'll include Lakamba, Tanzania.
That would be
The
wonderful.
River of Life Church. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yvonne.
This has been Yvonne McNary for Central Kentucky Talks.